y'all a little bit about this rolling piece of history we're riding behind. In May of 1938, Baldwin Locomotive Works built this narrow gauge Mikado style engine number 70. She weighs just over 230,000 pounds and is a genuine coal-fired, steam-driven Type 282 locomotive. Now that 282 simply means she's got 2 guide wheels in the front, 8 large drive wheels in the middle, and 2 smaller wheels towards the back. At the completion of her build, she was shipped to Skagway, Alaska, and used on the White Pass and Yukon Railway. Fast forward, December 1941 came the attack on Pearl Harbor in World War II. It was then determined that a military highway was needed to protect Alaska from invasion, so in 1942 the U.S. Army took over the White Pass and Yukon Railway and used it to move the materials and personnel needed to build the Appalachian military highway. At that time, in 1942, engine number 70 was commissioned as a part of the United States Army, and over 280,000 tons of supplies, materials, along with thousands of troops and other personnel traveled behind this engine and others like her. Up to 34 trains a day ran in support of road construction, and in 9 months, what seemed impossible became possible when the Appalachian military highway was completed. Now, I bet you folks didn't realize that you are riding behind a true veteran of World War II. Here at Dollywood, our Dawson Chris go out with those on active duty still today, and we'd like to take a moment to thank those veterans. Folks, if you are a veteran of the United States Army, please, at this time, we would like to ask you to raise your hand in acknowledgement. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give these fine folks a round of applause. Thank you so much for your service. After World War II, engine number 70 went to a scrapyard for 12 years. She sat on the side of those rails, rusting. So she was sent back into civilian life. In 1977, she was officially sold to an East Tennessee theme park known as Silver Dollar City, Tennessee. That's where she affectionately became known as Cinderella. The folks spoke up to the engine and waved to our engineer, Tim. Oh, looks like he's driving with only one hand. Now Cinderella has remained here since 1977 from Silver Dollar City, Tennessee to the present-day Dollywood, where she continues that tradition of hard work. Now you folks sit back, relax, and imagine that you're riding behind the state's first steam-powered locomotive, the Tennessean. Now as we begin to enter into the tree line, if you will, look to the engine's left. In a very small clearing out there, you'll see Dollywood's own hand sanitizing factory. That is where we make all of the sanitizing that we use to clean off the train. That was on the right part, that's not the left. You'll see there is where we make all the hand sanitizers for the park. You'll notice that there's nobody there now. That's because they only manufacture that in the shine of the moon. I told a gentleman that yesterday, and he tried to lick the seat. Now here at Dollywood, we are in the Great Smoky Mountains every so often. We have been known to see a black bear up around mine shaft number 13. That's just around the bend on the left-hand side of the engine, so take a peek, see if you see. Oh, yeah, stay steady there, folks. Just around the corner on the left-hand side, get those cameras ready so you can snap a picture of what we like to call Benjamin Bear. Don't worry, folks, though. Engine number 70's got her scared stiff. I know. My jokes are unbearable. Now we are entering the financial district of Dollywood. If you look to the left side of the train, you'll see a bank. And if you look to the right side of the train, you'll also see a bank. Now we roll through here several times a day, but it doesn't seem that our pockets seem to get any heavier. Cherokee Indians call these mountains the land of the blue smoke. It's a natural habitat for more flowering plants and trees than anywhere in the United States. In the trees you can hear the song of over 200 species of birds. Most people say that the Great Smoky Mountains is a never-changing song with each season and each pair of eyes. Now by a show of hands, how many of you fine folks have ridden on the Fire Chaser Express today? Alright, I got a couple, so you guys have all heard about Crazy Charlie. Well, if you look over there near that green truck, you might see a man sitting over there, folks. That is Mr. Crazy Charlie himself, and by the looks of it, he has got a fireworks spectacular ready behind that green fence for you guys tonight at 9:40. Now here at Dollywood, we're awfully proud of our engine crew, and every so often, we like to let them shoot their own horn. So how about it, folks? You want to hear a tune on that bubble locomotive whistle? On the count of three, everybody yell to the engine crew, blow the whistle. Ready? 1, 2, 3, blow the whistle! Now folks, if you look to the left-hand side of the engine, off into the distance, you'll see a scenic view of the Great Smoky Mountains, and now you'll understand why they got that name. Now the Great Smoky Mountains was founded in 1938, and is the most visited national park anywhere in the world. Folks, for your safety, please remain seated. If you will, look to the engine's right. Those are some trees. Now, at the dawn of the 20th century, there were over 1,200 farms here in these mountains. Some of these homesteads you'll see, or just like this homestead you'll see coming up on the left, is something like Miss Dolly Parton herself might have grown up in. They had a smokehouse for hanging and curing the meat, the main house where they would do all the living. Folks, I've seen Miss Dolly's cabin. It is a little bit smaller than the one you see there. That's where her and all of her siblings grew up. You'll also see the hen house where you would collect the eggs and keep the chickens. And I believe you'll see Miss Henrietta Chicken smiling back at you. And the last house there is the spring house. This was the age before electricity, folks, so the spring house was used for keeping the things like the milk and the butter cold. Now there was a very important house too, can't forget it. It was called the outhouse. The kids, if you don't know what the outhouse is, ask your parents, and if they look a bit confused, ask your grandparents. While you're at it, ask them about the woodshed. But if they tell you they don't want to talk about it because those memories are just far too painful,